Alright guys, welcome back in the Dexter tent. Another week of building. Top wing's almost finished. I'm feeling a bit worn out, to be honest. That's alright, it's meant to be fun. Well, it is fun, I've just got to slow down, pace myself a bit. We'll get the ailerons definitely painted this week. Well, not this week. What's today? Thursday? Today's Thursday. We'll get those painted by the weekend, top and bottom. Probably 3 or 4 coats of linen colour today on the ailerons. And then maybe get the roundels complete. I'll have a play with the fuselage and we'll see what we get up to. Thanks for watching. Alright, first coat of paint on the ailerons, bottom surface. With a run. What's going on there, mate? A bit of quality control. Just going to make up, got this nice piece of veneer. It's a pain because I could cut that way, but the grain's the wrong way. So I'm just going to laminate or butt join a section here to make a face piece. Which will cover up that. I'll stain it up nicely and finish off the slots for the seat belts. Might put a brass plaque or something on there, make it look nice. So I'll get that ready to make up. Then I might look at the dashboard. So while I'm waiting for the paint to dry, it's so nice doing something different, guys. So I'm just making my panel. I'll stain this up, glue it, probably glue and screw to the back wall there once I cut the seatbelt slots out. And I'll run some, I don't know, rubber or something. I'll work that out once it's glued on. Just to finish that back part off, nice little job. And then I might, continue on with the fuselage, just working out in my mind what I'm going to do. Alright, mark the seatbelt holes on the back. Use the Dremel. Looks like it's been laser cut. But I just used my little Dremel guy here. I was going to use the hole saw, but once again, test first, and it tears the wood. Because this is purely a showpiece, we'll do it nice and neat, a bit slow. Now I'll get my sanding disc in the Dremel and round the corners nicely. Once I glue it on, I'll probably have to just sand to match the quarter ply that's on the back there, or 3mm, whatever it was. Alright, back to some fun stuff. Got my laminate. I just write down. I glued that at 11:15 because you lose track of this. I've just put some 5-minute Araldite on those standoff blocks. This actually does have, surprise, surprise, I finally get some tangs. So I've just put some masking tape on those. I'm going to put that in there, pop a hole through those plywood blocks or 7mm blocks I've got on the back. Just get the panel vertical, obviously. I'm just looking, I'm pretty sure, I need a radius there, so I think I'll go with the old lock wire container, about a 2-inch radius, and I'll sand that off. I've been looking at photos. Keith just gave me a ring. G'day, Keith. And I've actually got a page of instructions here, which is pretty good. I need to work out my machine guns for the slots and cut some slots into that. Consideration with a machine gun, you don't want to headbutt them in the cockpit and you don't want them sticking into the prop. So very technical. Remember the old spokey dokies? It'd be pretty funny, you start it up and it's brrr, the props rubbing on the machine guns. Anyway, I digress. So we'll cut some slots in this when I work it out. So I need to bolt this on. I'll put the firewall on and that'll give me some reference. I've also pulled out the fuel tank. It's funny, it's been leak checked, but the holes, the bosses here, if you like, were just welded on, but they weren't. I think the GoPro just froze again. Fuel tank, it's been leak checked on the bench, but interestingly, the holes weren't drilled. So I've drilled those, which means that the boss around, or the weld for the I call it a boss, like the threaded portion that's welded on, hasn't been leak checked, if that makes sense. Like for instance, I can see holes in the welds there. And that one's actually been half blown away by the weld. Hopefully it's all right. But in drilling those, I've filled the tank up with swarf. You got to be a bit careful with tool number one, the vacuum, because it'll implode the tank, suck it down. So yeah, playing with the tank, I'm going to, because I need to get that in before I snooker myself. It's basically going to hang on some all thread, just hang down from the roof onto, I've got a piece of 1 inch square tubing here, which I'll cut to length. And that, yeah, so this, imagine that was square tubing straight across on some rubber with this hanging down, which will pull it up against the airframe at the top with the I call it the plumber's rubber, this stuff, the black I think it's gas pipe, soft stuff. I also got a fuel cap, which I need to get welded. Welded onto the top there, sort of doesn't fit, or machined out, or just butt welded on. Doesn't really need to be leak proof at that end, up the top. The reason I haven't sent it down to the welder yet, I need to work out whether this needs to be cut off or not. I guess longer is going to be better, but you don't want it too long. Yay, more painting. I'm just going to brush on 3 coats of the maple stain. Doesn't really matter on this piece, that's my headrest. So I'll just, splash something on, glue it on. Might put some brass nails or something. Nails are no good, them falling out. We'll go screws, brass, if I can find some brass headed screws, just to give it a mechanical attachment as well as a adhesive. We'll paint this. Okay, looking good, my headrest. Let that dry for tomorrow. We definitely need some brass, something or other, brass screws or nails. All right, what's going on over here? Got the firewall on and the dashboard. I'm bringing out the guns. Well, the pretend guns. I'm just going to work out where they go. All right, rear panel looking good. Put the firewall on, just temporary, so that I could line up that. I need to increase the slot just to get that. When I get it, I'll just get it, set it up level with the longeron for now, I guess. And it'll allow me to work out what's going on here. And right down around this area. Piece by piece, guys, piece by piece. Ailerons, I've got 4 coats on there today. It's a bit colder today, so it took a bit longer. I'll flip those over tomorrow, mask them up, or vice versa. Mask them up, flip them over, coat 4 or 5 coats of green on the top. Tomorrow's Friday. Let those cure for the weekend and we'll do some roundels next week. Then put the wings away, top wings. I'm just sort of playing around in between coats of paint. I sort of know if the tent wasn't there, it'd be fantastic. So I really need to push on and get the wings, all 4 wings complete. Then I'll pull the tent down. Give me more room to work, and I haven't got wings laying around the place. You can see my wing rack over here, where obviously the wings will go back into, against the wall there. And I'll cover them up. There is some tweaks. You know, where do you stop? I need to cut all the panels out of the wings, paint the panels, fit the panels probably upside down on the bench. So I'll probably do that as I put them away. I've got these bolts in here. I'm a little bit worried about pulling those out because I don't want the rib to move. Hence they're staying in there right until I fit the wings. Potentially there's a problem there because that bolt has to come out, fit the wing. You could pop the rib over. I guess you just push it back and put the bolt in somehow. All these have to be cut out, or work out which ones I want cut out. Yeah, but looking good. This looks good with the wheels and the firewall on. So that's more than 6 feet to the top of the firewall. I need to do a radius all the way around here. My neighbour's a metal worker, so he's working on something for me. Hopefully it's not too over-engineered and too expensive. I was just going to do the flange tin type thing. But we'll see how that turns out. You can see here, this is sort of telling me already I think it's going to go even lower, but I can lower this centre point right down if the guns are straight. I have to hop in the cockpit and sight the guns. Just for YouTube's sake, these are fake. They're metal and plastic. I don't know how YouTube works, but they're not real. They're just metal, plastic, fake things. All right. Beautiful panel. That'll go on the rear turtle deck, and that'll go in nicely at the back there. I'm just having a bit of fun working out in between coats of paint, working out what I'm going to do and what's going to go where. The hard part with this is you've got to actually, it's not a matter of making the panel. I need something for the panel to stick to, and the overlaps and everything like that. Consideration up here with these things. Yeah, nice pair of black things up there. Consideration there is I've got to be able to get the cowl on and off. I had a quick look last night. Obviously I need to lower looks like I need to lower the rear, but I think I'll raise the front to allow the cowl to be able to slide on and off. I have to work out, the fore and aft. I'll measure the engine mount and the engine and the prop and work out where they need to sit. And then it's all right having them looking nice, but the last thing you want is something like this coming loose and flying off in flight, hit you in the face, or take the tail with it on the way out. So I'll do some, a decent mount at the front. If it robs a bit of the aesthetics, so be it. Structure first. So I'm plugging away there. I really need to get this perimeter done on the engine mount, and that can basically stay on, I think. Got my template piece of plywood. I might bite the bullet and fit the final piece. You got to start somewhere. So my plan would be, I think I'm going to bolt it all on, Don't worry about staining it or anything yet, because there'll be pencil lines and stuff. Get it all built with the engine in there, but not hooked up. Fuel tank in there, but not plumbed. We'll make all this and then pull it apart and do the final fit. Right, let's mask up the aileron, both of them, and we'll get some green paint laid on the top surface. You do have to be careful. I keep saying this, but you could potentially paint the top, the bottom, and the bottom, the top. Yeah, we'll get some green paint on that. What do I need to line up? Not too much. Back here. My plan there is I'm just going to guess. I've used a 12mm bit of masking tape, so I'll do the same. If it's too far out, bear in mind there's a bit of a gap. When it's final fit, I could just simply run a bit of masking tape and touch it up with a brush to get, if I'm not happy with the lines, if they look a bit gawky. Same as out here on the tip. Rather than try and flip the wing over and bolt the hinges on just to get this mark here, I'll just take a guess and we'll fix it up later. Alright, just going through and working out a little bit of math in my head. Ailerons, second coat, probably 4 coats I reckon, 2 more with a sand. I'll let that dry thoroughly now, give it a sand. And then we'll get stuck into some ailerons. I might make up a compass while I'm waiting for my Roundels. And I could actually drill ahead of time. I could drill these bolt heads for lock wire. Might do that too. All right, back of the dash. Just put my landings on, a bunch of L angles. This will have to get fuel proofed or whatever, waterproofed. I'll give it a coat of West Systems epoxy. This is the rear side, the back. I could give those a rattle can of primer and black paint, but I've still got to drill and mount. I'll do anchor nuts on here, and you won't see it, and even if you do, it's going to be an aluminium skin, so I'll leave those natural. This all has to come back out eventually to obviously do the gauges and whatever else I need to do. So for now, like I said, I'm just building structure. What I'm going to do, as I keep harping on, everything has a locking medium. I'm just going to pull each one out now and put a blob of 5-minute epoxy in the hole to lock those screws. Last thing I want is little self-tappers falling down in the cockpit, because then you have to find where it came from. And if it's just one of these, it doesn't really matter. But if I glue it in, I won't have that problem. So, using the old 30-minute slow cure 2-part epoxy from Hobby King, good old Hobby King days. All right, on to the last bit of painting for a while. Well, I'm going to do the Roundels, but last bit of the hard yards, and then we'll do some pretty stuff. It's funny, this green that I'm using is doing its job, because sometimes it looks brown in different light, which is what the PC12 colour, I believe it is, so the historians say. That's why there's variations. I don't think there was ever any green or brown camels. It just turned out that way. It's all the same paint. But I think the CO just put out the message to mix up some paint. And it was something like 1 part Agent Orange to 2 parts arsenic or something. And I think some squadrons just mixed in more of one or the other, hence the different colouring. But this paint's, yeah, when I look around, it does change colour in the lights. But I'm really happy with it. for a Bunnings off-the-shelf colour. It's Deluxe Ecology Green, if anyone's interested. But I'll finish this aileron off and let it set up for the night. It's all nicely masked up, so it'll end up like the wing over there. Probably give it the weekend to cure. I'm not sure whether to fit the aileron permanently, i.e. castellated nuts and split pin it. Actually no, I won't. I'll put nylock nuts and do them up tight as a PC21 flies over from the RAAF. I'll do the hinges up tight so it holds the aileron steady while I mask it up. But then once it's finished, I may as well... Well, the ailerons are pretty heavy. So what I'm thinking, I've got to lift the wings up, or some helpers have to lift the wings up. It may be easier without the ailerons. But then I've got to climb up on a ladder and do the hinge bolts, where the hinge bolts would be a lot easier to split pin down on the bench. So I think I'll permanently put the ailerons on, split pin them on the bench, and put some sort of gust lock just to stop them flapping around while I put the aircraft together one day. Sounds like a good plan. So there we go. The diagonal tape gives me a bit of grief. I just like to go the direction of airflow. So if there are any dags, it just looks like weathering streaks basically. And then the last bit is just down under here. Don't forget the tip, which is easy to forget. I do shoot the bottom bit a bit blind. There's nothing we can't touch up. Right, a couple of dry spots I can see there, a bit more paint. I don't like playing with it too much, especially once it starts to set up. Doesn't take long, a bit of breeze helps. It goes on, looks terrible, and then it pulls down nicely. So that shiny, slicky stuff ends up looking like that. I'm using a low sheen paint. It marks very easy at this stage. I had a bird poo on the other wing and I rubbed it off and it sort of left a mark. You've got to be a bit careful. I think it'll harden up. I hope it does. It'll get a bit ragged over time. Do all this effort on the top of the top wing, and I've said it before, you won't see very much of this at all. Okay, fitted the aileron at neutral, bolted on. I'm just going to do this one. We'll get this masking tape off and bolt the aileron on. It's harder than you think actually because of the hinge gap. And I really need to go full deflection, which means you've got to hang the wing off the bench a bit. That's all right. And it's more than half. So the bit you want off the bench overbalances. I need to actually buy myself a quarter drive universal joint so I can get a socket down and in, which tells me that I probably need to fit these on the bench, split pinned, ready to go, and offer the wing up like this on final fit. But we'll see how we go. So I'm about to mask out my Roundels, which will be fun. We'll see how that works out once I get the aileron fitted on the other wing. So I'm just putting a nylon washer so the bolt goes in. Putting a nylon washer as a bearing, and then the aileron will go on and bolt on. I'm just using nylock nuts for the moment. Eventually they'll be, you can see they've got the hole in them. They'll be castellated nuts with a split pin, which will be like open heart surgery, trying to split pin that, but that'll be fine because that bolt can then spin freely if required. Okay. Outer perimeter masked up. Not sure what I'm going to do in the gap here, whether I just sort of... No, I'm going to have to run some tape all in there. Anyway, got the other one done as well. Having trouble with the masking tape. See, it's not actually sort of low tack, I guess, like a little bit more tack. Anyway, I'm going to credit card it and then paint it green to get the edge to stick down, and then we'll wax some white paint on. Okay, not enjoying this one as much as I thought. I have trouble with the masking tape. It sort of doesn't stick to the paint, like, you know, very well at all. When you're trying to get a crisp line, it makes it hard. Anyway, and it's a cold day today. Once again, battling the weather. Local weather report, cold. It is 12 degrees in the hangar, Celsius. Yeah, first coat on. I put the brown paper on. I did the first one and I got a lot of splash, like overspray on the green, because I was just going a bit too hard and a bit too quick. So put my little splash guard on, so now I can go a bit harder. I've cheated a bit and used the heat gun at a distance, just to give that let that set up a bit. I want to try and get 4 or 5 coats on there today, but I'm going to be pushing it uphill a bit, because then tomorrow I could, you know, mask up the rest. Anyway, it might be a slow process. It needs a sand, and I have got a couple of tapes that I can get a second chance at on the white and blue areas. I'm sure it'll turn out all right. It does look fairly big, the Roundel, compared to the wing, but I know it'll sort of shrink a bit when I take off all the masking. Yeah, there's a 1-inch perimeter, so the blue bit will make it look a little bit smaller. I'm not sure what's going on because my documents show me it's full chord, if you like, but it's less than half a wing. Maybe I'm looking at the bottom wing. Don't forget I've got another up there, that's 2400. What's that, 8 feet? So I've got another 4 feet of wing to the centre section here. But that's the roundel. So anyway, I've done it to scale, full scale. It is what it is, it'll turn out nice. In the gap here, I think I'll just leave it. When I just to reduce the amount of times I put the ailerons on and off, I'll take the aileron back off, obviously, and I'll run some tape along, and I can just touch that up with a brush as required. It'll be blue and white, no doubt. The blue definitely comes through here somewhere. But that won't take too long, and a bit easy just to clean the edge up, maybe down. I think I went a bit nuts with the brush and my nice crisp line. It's on the ground, one of the ailerons is probably going to droop down, and you'll see that when people walk up to it at an air show, etc. So I'll clean those up nicely. But that's where that's at the moment. Second to last coat of white going on the wing. It's become a bit of a chore, guys. I'll be completely honest with you, it's become a bit of a chore. Anyway, don't let the standards drop, we'll keep going. I want to get the roundels done. It's, what's today, Tuesday I think. Roundels done by the end of the week, and I'm going to have a break. The other wing is at the same stage in the tent. Takes up a lot of real estate, and I don't like doing this sort of stuff with the fabric. Swarf becomes your enemy. So to make metal, what I did do, I'll show you quickly. I put the headrest on yesterday, stained it up, I put it on with, I've got some black tacks or nails, just to give it a vintage look if you like. These guys can come off now. And just put some woodworking glue on the back, tapped her on. I'm going to get some sort of rubber, because it's fairly abrasive where the seatbelt's going to come through. And I'll just, similar to down there, I'll neaten that up nicely. All right, literally waiting for paint to dry. Oh, it's not bad actually. It actually looks like it's flashed off, which is surprising. Gippsland weather report, 13 degrees, chance of rain, windy. Right, put the dashboard in. I had to wander down and get some dash 12 bolts, just so I got the right length. Bear in mind, what I'm going to do is do the dash, and then I will face it with my 1mm ply, which I love, eucalyptus that is. I'll do all the holes and pencil marks, then I'll sheet it, and from the back teach myself how to use a router. So I've bolted that on, gives me some structure. Now I need to work out, I might start at the back, come forward with cardboard. I've got something here, I've got guns, I've got all sorts of things. Consideration with the machine guns. Sort of don't want them in the way if you're going to just simply change a spark plug or something. But anyway, that may or may not happen. What else we got going on? I don't know how I'm going to attach the top. What I have got, once again, Bunnings to the rescue. I got these fellas, like electrical conduit clamps, which just happen to fit perfectly on there. But do I want 2 rows of screws? I'm not sure. The only way to do this, guys, is jump in and start putting panels on. I need to get some plywood to recut those, sort of semi-permanently put that on. Today I might make the back bit out of cardboard. Just visualise what's going on up here. I've seen other guys where this seems to be the centre of the potato, Mr. Potato Head, so the hole for your head, that seems to be the centre. So whatever that is there, call it a foot, forward a foot. So I might have 4-inch, say, overhang if you like, which is okay. So the machine guns will go in there. I need some sort of quick, just one bolt to remove at the back. Consideration with the, well, let's not call them that, let's call them bolt-ons. Nice pair of bolt-ons. So my bolt-ons will sit up here, but I think I need them sort of, you don't want them to break and hit you in the face or take the tail out. So they're going to be mounted fairly substantially and handle all the vibration, as well as just look pretty. Yeah, pretty much to a real pair of bolt-ons. And then, I don't know where I'm going, guys. I need to mount the tank and just slap on some aluminium. Yeah, you see down the bottom, I have to invent something to attach it to. So I'm just not sure what I'm going to do there. All right. So one of my fellow builders overseas, you know who you are, has sent me some photos on the way he mounted his tank. So I'm going to do that. I've got 3 metres of square aluminium tube. Going to cut that up into 4 pieces, 2 on the top, all thread down to 2 on the bottom, 8mm all thread, and then I'll just pull the tank up and I'll line the aluminium. I'll glue some rubber on there. So that's why I got the vacuum out. I'm worried about swarf and that dropping on the fabric. Run the vacuum while I drill the holes. That's just a 3/32 hole. What I think I'll do is cut the aluminium and cleco it and then drill, because they'll all be slightly different, but I'll keep the orientation spot on. I may even be able to drill the bottom one. That'll make it square, won't it? I'll do that too, I think. Let's get into it. All right, so it's amazing when the temperature warms up. The paint dries pretty quick. Happy with my white. I did make a boo-boo with the line, but I just rubbed it off with a wet rag straight away. Red, white, blue. Got it all drawn out. I'm not sure if the video will show the lines there. So 1 inch of white, blue, white, red, 10-inch squares. It's going to look good when it's done. I've seen a few bits of lifting tape, so I expect some bleeds, and I need to clean up. I've got splashes and whatever down in there, but I'll pull the aileron off again and we'll get that done. Hopefully tomorrow we can mask that up and get stuck into it. The other wing's at the same stage. All right, take 2. So I mask up that edge, but I went on the wrong side of the line. I've got to be on the outside of this line for the blue to come out. The white did start to look a bit thick, and I've got to be on, so the outside of the red, inside of this one. Let's do it again and think a bit this time. Okay, is it pretty? No. Functional? Yes. Mix up some paint, give that a quick sand. I'm going to paint the edge white. What have I got? 1, 2, 3 edges. Double check that I've got red, white, blue, white on both wings at once. Got my fuel tank waiting to go in between coats. White, blue, white, red. Looking good. Let's paint. All right, first ghost coat gone on, if you like. Gone outside the lines a bit, that's all right. It was worth spending the couple of hours masking up, so you can sort of just go nuts with the paint. Expect 4 to 5 coats as normal. Good drying day today, weather in Gippsland, 20 and windy. I'll go and paint the other roundel. that, guys. It was getting the better of me for a while there. I just pull the masking tape off. It makes me smile. Beautiful. Got a roundel. The red's still a work in progress. I'm brushing on full strength now just to get on top of it. My green mark from the block is just staying underneath there. So just to spare the paint, spoil the job. I may even wait till tomorrow, give that a good sand and another couple of coats of paint, I think. But the rest of it, it's just beautiful. The thing, I guess, with the roundel, you're never going to look at it straight down like this necessarily, but that's just fantastic in my book. Let's do the other one. Watching it live, guys. If I've made a booper, you're going to see it. Whoops, it's my first little blooper. Little touch up there, there and there. Round and round the wing. Beautiful. I'm liking that. A couple of tiny little touch-ups and we'll be good. Nice. The question is, did I get the math right? Looks like it. Dude, I'll tell you what. Yes. All right, guys. Well, just love it. A lot of work. A lot of work. Let's walk away, let it dry. Well, I'll be back tomorrow. Tomorrow I'm going to take the aileron off, just clean up in there. I'm just going to touch those up before I go. It's a little tiny spill, but that's just perfect. Unbelievable. Really stoked. Happy with that. All right, guys, while I'm jumping for joy with my Roundels and my bolt-ons, might say goodbye there. Going to take a bit of a break, to be honest. School holidays. Take some time off. Back to building in a couple of weeks. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the movie. See you on the next one.